Well, we're here with Managing Assignment Editor for City News, Nicole McCormick, lovely in blue today, and Anagbi Youth Program Manager and Native Canadian Centre of Toronto, Cynthia Bell. Hello to both of you.
Good morning. Hello.
Cynthia, I have to ask you, what is Anagbi? What does that stand for?
Well, it's in our language, the Ojibwe Odawa language. So it's Eshkinigjik Nandweachigegamic, which is a place for healing our youth. Abishka Binjabaying means where did we come from? Youth program.
Wow, and you said that was which language?
Odawa Ojibwe.
Wow, is that really what the language that was spoken here by Indigenous peoples in the Toronto area?
Right, we're on the land of the Mississaugas of New Credit, which is a majority of the Ojibwe people.
Fascinating. All right, and you're the youth program manager, so we'll talk about that. And the Native Canadian Centre of Toronto. What is the Native Canadian Centre of Toronto?
Native Canadian Centre of Toronto is the friendship centre for the Indigenous people that come to the City of Toronto. We provide like referral services. We have seniors program. We have the youth program. We also have a resource centre for our visiting community members.
Fantastic. And Nicole, as Managing Assignment Editor for City News, you're out there talking to people. That's the whole point of City News, is that connection with everyday folks, right?
That's been a big part of our mandate over the years, is to represent everybody who lives in the City of Toronto. That includes First Nations people, that includes everybody, and we really want to be representative of the people that live in our city.
And how important is it that Indigenous people are represented in the media?
For me personally, you know, over the years, it's been so important for me. And to encourage the youth especially to be more, you know, active in their city, because we're the ones that, as we grow up, we need to keep that presence on the air. We need to keep that presence, you know, media and even in, you know, the programs that Cynthia is a part of. It's so important because we're the only ones who are going to continue to, you know, talk about our cultures and our traditions and spread our opinions as well.
And that's what we love about the Aboriginal community and the Indigenous community, is those rituals, those cultural. What's the word I'm looking for? The things about the culture that are so important, that need to be passed down from person to person, right?
Well, that's the unique part of having the Indigenous Cultural Festival here in the GTA. Not many Indigenous youth or families can go back to their respective reservations to practice and be a part of the activities that do happen on reservations. So bringing it to the city allows the young ones, the youth, the families, and so forth, and the grandmas and grandfathers to come together and celebrate, dance, sing, and so forth.
And we've always recognized the important relationship between the youth and the older generation, the elders. And you continue that as well to this day, don't you?
Exactly. Our theme this year is actually honoring our elders and our youth. That transition of knowledge between our elders and youth is very imperative to keep our oral traditions alive and well.
That's how people learned before iPods and texting and Twitter. Yeah. It was literally the older person taught the younger person, and then that tradition just continued.
Exactly.
So let's keep that alive. We love having connections with our older community. Now, it's happening on Saturday and Sunday, May 21st and 22nd at Downsview Park, Toronto. This is the first annual, so this is going to be a yearly thing after this, right?
Yes, hopefully.
What are we going to do that day?
Well, we're going to start off with a grand entry, which pretty well represents all the dancers that are going to be present at the Cultural Festival. So we're expecting about 300 to 400 dancers, and we may be even expecting more, which will be great.
In traditional dress, I'm assuming?
Exactly, yeah. So we will have a number of visiting staffs, Eagle staffs, that will be present in, I'm going to say, a procession-like when we say grand entry. So we'll have dignitaries, we'll have, Michelle's going to be there. She's also going to be entering into the grand entry. So it's going to be a spectacular moment for anybody witnessing that grand entry, because it's going to be colors, elders. There's going to be elders, but I'm hearing the oldest person that I know so far is going to be 84 years old, dancing right down to a tiny tot.
Love it. And what an intro to your keynote speech. What are you going to be talking about?
I'm really honored actually to be the keynote speaker on behalf of Rogers for the cultural festival, and basically it'll be sharing my story. You know, I grew up, you know, a lot of the stereotypes that you know, First Nations people get. I've been there. You know, I grew up. You know, my mother is a drug addict. You know, I grew up in the system. I grew up, you know, in poverty, and you know what? Through the support of, you know, everybody I've met along the way, through my own elder, you know, I've even learned through youth as well that, you know, talking is so incredibly therapeutic, and that's kind of the hope that I'm going to get out of, you know, what I have to say this weekend, speaking to the elders, speaking to the youth, speaking to the community. You know, not only will it be therapeutic for me, but also, you know, to encourage the youth especially, that no matter where you come from and the you know, the trials that you have faced, you can and will be successful. You just have to have confidence in yourself and know that, you know, again, no matter what has happened, you'll be okay.
And that credit to you for always believing that it doesn't matter what's gone on before, I know where I want to be. There's nothing that's going to stop me. That's hopefully the message that we'll get through. So that's happening on Saturday, right? It's your speech. Is there something else happening on the 21st that we should know about of June?
Oh yes, we're having the Aboriginal celebrations down at Dundas Square. We call it Aboriginal History Month. So there's going to be an array of performing artists there, from singing, dancing. I think we're going to have some skits and so forth. And then we also have booths there that are housed with crafts from our elders, artists. So there's going to be quite an array of things for everybody to do.
May 21st to 22nd, go to Downsview Park, Toronto, and take part in the first ever annual North American Indigenous Cultural Festival. And then on the 21st of June, it's
Actually,
Aboriginal.
it's to the 24th.
24th of June.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All the details are at ncct.on.ca. Thank you both so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great time this weekend.